Hello.
Hey there.
Hello.
Oh, okay. So it looks like we're set up. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Jen, do you know if George is able to join us today?
I talked to Mr. Spitali earlier. He won't be able to join us today.
Want me to bring you a drink? You know.
Sounds good. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Veterans Commission. I'm Mayor Eddie Sundquist. I know this is the first time. I believe that we've actually gotten a chance to meet since we started, and the entire pandemic just came upon us. So as we were starting to see and get emails from the state in regards to a potential veterans project, I thought it would be a great time to bring you all back together to talk a little bit about some of the issues that our veterans are facing, and also talk about a potential project that might be a really great program and a great memorial to our veterans that we have lost here in Jamestown and Chautauqua County. So with that, I just want to make sure we get a roster of everyone who's here. So Jen, if you could just call the roster of the members for the commission.
Sure. Do we have Mr. Pentheny? Mr. Miller?
Yep.
Mr. Wellman?
Yes.
Okay, that's you on the phone.
Yes.
Okay, we have Mr. Dietrich.
Yes.
Mr. Abbott was hoping to join us, but he was coming back from Buffalo today, so I'm waiting here in the office to see if he shows up. I've got a computer ready for him to use if so. Mr. Spitali, as I mentioned, said he was unable to attend. He did let me know that Mr. Service was unable also to attend. Mr. Kell, are you on? And Ms. Terwilliger?
Yes.
Great, thank you, Jen. It looks like we also have joining us Tori Irgay
Yep.
and Jeff Lehman. Thanks for being here, both of you.
Mr. Mayor, are you ready to go to the meeting?
Yes, sir.
Are you going to begin the meeting? Under full disclosure, I want to make it known that I am have been for a long time and certainly are sitting now as a president of the Sunset Hill Cemetery. And this, it's a competition. It's another cemetery kind of thing. And I just wonder if I should be abstaining from voting, and should I be abstaining from participating? Because comments I have to make as a chairman and the president there, and then how I feel too is they're bumping heads. So I just wonder, should I abstain from participating or just abstain from voting?
I don't think you need to abstain from participating. I think you're having that prior experience is a really helpful thing as we start to talk a bit about the project. But I think you should definitely participate. And if you feel like you need to abstain from voting, you obviously could do that.
Mm-hmm. Well, when the time comes, I will then abstain from voting.
Okay.
If that's everybody's comfortable with that.
Sure. So we wanted to take a moment to really just discuss one thing, which is the opportunity that's been presented by the New York State Office of General Services. I had forwarded it through our clerk, a request for information. They are establishing New York State's first state-owned veterans cemetery, and they are looking for locations across the state. Which may be a good location to put that. The state is looking to acquire that property and to put a state-owned veteran cemetery. So I wanted to just talk to you about the request for information that was issued, the materials that we put forth. I know that Josh and I had spoken and expressed some interest in this proposal, and wanted to just touch base with you all as a Veterans Commission that has created some incredible memorials across the city, and thought this might be in line with some of the work that you all may be interested in doing. So I want to open that up for discussion, see if folks have any thoughts on it, or if there is some potential that you're interested in moving forward with this request for information. So I'll open it up to anyone.
Is this something that would be owned and operated and financed by the state?
That is correct.
The property would be owned then by the state?
That is correct, yes.
Mhm.
The state is looking to establish the cemetery. It could be used with another cemetery, I believe, but they are looking for a potential location.
And does that have to be within the city limits of the city of Jamestown?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Josh, did you have any thoughts on going through the RFI?
I was looking through it earlier. So one of the concerns I have is the deadline. It's only 8 days away, so that might be kind of difficult to throw this all together in 8 days. And two, where are we going to put it?
Sure.
The land, the land part is the other concern that I have.
Any other concerns that folks have? There very well may be a concern, but I wanted to at least make sure that you all as a commission got a chance to take a look at that first, and that we didn't lose a potential opportunity if there was a feeling that we should move forward with something like that.
If this is other land in the city or about the city and it's given to the state, it then comes off the tax roll. It's not a tax generating piece of property.
That is typically how that would happen, yes.
Yeah, I'd like to know where it was going to be located. It's General Wellman talking.
I don't think there was a potential location. I think we just wanted to discuss it with you all to see if you wanted it. If you don't want it, that's okay. Then we could just, talk about some other things, but wanted to just touch base to see if anyone was interested in this before we passed it up, right? Or before the response date passed us.
Would be something to be very, very proud of.
Absolutely. Yes. There are a few, if you all saw that George Spitali had sent some information along in some notes. There are several veteran cemeteries across the state of New York, none owned and operated by the state themselves. So this is a first for the state.
Yeah, you'd send the one that's in Corfu and the other one that's in Bath. And I mean, there's other ones across state, but those are the ones that he sent. I honestly think if we had more time to actually scope out some potential land, I think this would be really doable. But I don't know about it's really up against the wall, though, with it being the deadline being by March 18th.
Other thoughts from folks?
I'm not really a voting member, but I just have a question. Is it possible that it could be a dually, could you somehow have the area of Lakeview Cemetery that's dedicated, the newer area that's across Marvin Parkway? Is it, that would meet the criteria where it could be a shared use cemetery? And I'm speaking about their land, and I don't even know if they're interested. I just am curious because we do have an area in the city already somewhat dedicated to this. I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, hitchhiking on the thought that you had, Tor, has there been any conversations, I'm guessing not, with the existing cemeteries? Do you have any feel or any sense of what the reaction of the Lakeview Cemetery or Sunset or Beams Point or Busti or Flavanna, do you have any idea how they feel about it with another wonderful facility coming into our community and a competitive facility coming?
So there's been no discussions on behalf of the city with those locations. The state is simply requesting information on potential locations. So we've not called or reached out to those. In fact, my first response was to bring you all together to talk about it, to see if there is any potential. And if you all think that there's not enough time and there's not enough opportunity to create those given the constraints, that's okay. But I didn't want us to pass up that opportunity without first discussing it and bringing about some of these issues that you've all kind of brought up.
I have a feeling like that Josh is sharing, it's not a lot of time to make a decision like this. Not a lot of time available.
Fair enough. Are there any other comments or thoughts on it?
The comment that was made about speaking to the other cemeteries in the area, George, in his list of comments that went out in your packets, and I apologize, it wasn't included in the email. He also suggested reaching out to Lakeview and Holy Sepulchre here in the city as well. So that was on his list of items that he wanted to mention.
I think the Lakeview Cemetery Veterans area across the road from Myron Parkway would be a great place.
Thank you, Barkley. It's Tori. I'm glad you liked my idea.
Yep, you're welcome.
Barkley, are you on the cemetery? Are you on the Lakeview board?
I was on the Lakeview, well, I guess I still am, yeah.
They don't let you off that easy, correct?
Yeah.
So
I've been on
I
the
guess
board for 50 years, I guess.
wonderful. So what I'm hearing so far is that given the time constraints and given the opportunity there, at this point, we want to hold off on making any response. And unless a committee member wants to investigate further with any of the cemeteries, looks like we're going to just be holding off on a response to this. If you disagree, speak your piece. Okay.
Again, hitchhiking on what Josh has said, if you called one of the cemeteries tomorrow, I doubt if they have time enough to make a decision between now and the deadline.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So we'll hold off on that. I appreciate the discussion and the thought process on it. I did not want us to potentially pass this up without first discussing it. And so that was the main agenda item that I had. Are there any other agenda items or things that you all want to bring up? Things that we can try to help support, or issues that have been popping up that we can try to support you all on?
Nothing I have.
No, nothing on my end either.
Yes, I have a question, and maybe it's for Mr. Lehman. Are there any needs at the Veterans Park right now in terms of maintenance or additional items that hadn't been finished? Or is there anything that you're kind of needing to do, Jeff?
Not really, not at this time.
Okay.
Great. Perfect. Well, I appreciate you all coming together on short notice and trying to discuss this and trying to see if this is a potential option for the city. I really appreciate you going through all of that and talking about it, discussing it. I think that's important. And I'm hoping that next month we can get together and talk about more issues that are upcoming. I know it is very difficult, especially with the pandemic. But it is hopeful to see the number of, especially our veterans that are getting vaccinated by the VA and other clinics, and to see the numbers of COVID decreasing throughout this area, which is a wonderful thing. And hopefully we can get back to shaking each other's hands and, being in the same room as one another. I very much miss that. Very, very much. With that, if there's nothing else, you guys are good to, grab some dinner and enjoy the rest of your night. It's warm out. Take a walk. I went and walked my dog quickly before this meeting, and she did not have enough. I can tell you that much. But we hope you have a wonderful night. And thanks again for jumping on this call so quickly.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Great night.